Hello, it's time for Combat Patrol Carnage. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and we've got another double whammy in order to catch up ready for when the next delivery arrives in the next week or so. So this week we're going to be looking at another two issues, and those are issues 57 and 58, parts 1 and 2 of the Cthonian Berzerks. So first off, what have we got in issues 57? Well, we've got our build guide for the Cthonian Berzerks. We look at the Kronus Hegemony, the colour scheme we're using for the collection's combat patrol. We look at transports and light vehicles. We have our battle record. We have more pages for our campaign. Plus we have all of the abilities and rules for the Votan in combat patrol. Then in issue 58, we get, of course, the paint guide. We get the territories of the leagues with a beautiful double page spread of the galactic core and where each of the leagues lives. And then after that, it's a bunch of pages again for the campaign, plus the combat patrol sheet for Warspeke's Prospect and Scenario 35, Hunt Them Down, in which the Leagues of Votan have boarded a Space Hulk teeming with Tyranids. That is fine, the Berzerks are there to sharpen the blades of their plasma axes and chop up some much needed bugs. So what do we get with these issues? We get, well, 3 little frames full of models. Issue 57 brings these two. We've got parts of the mole grenade launcher. There's the axes. There's also the parts of the hammers on here, so if you wanted to build them with hammers, you can. Every model has about 3 head options. Got lots of little backpack detailings. I've heard they are rather fiddly to put together. We'll see just how bad in a sec. And then issue 58, we get our final frame, which has the Champion's Concussion Gauntlets. Again, 2 plasma axes, 2 hammers there as well. And we also get our bases. So one 50mm base for the mole grenade launcher. And 4 28mm for the remaining Berzerks. So in this video, we're going to do the same as we did last time. We're going to build a Berzerk, paint a Berzerk, and then we'll get them ready for the rest of the video. After that, we'll do our double bill of lore and collecting articles. So we'll cover all of those in one video. And then finally, we'll cover all our gaming articles, as well as trying out these guys in a scenario. And I'm looking forward to a future video where I get to try out a full combat patrol with all its rules. So hopefully issue 61 when we get a paint issue. So yeah, definitely going to be trying these guys out for that. So before we hit the table and build our models, don't forget to, of course, do all the usual. Like the video if you're enjoying the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And drop me a comment down below. Love hearing back from you guys. It goes a massive way helping out this channel as well. Finally then, Combat Patrol Carnage is proudly sponsored by warbay.shop, your one-stop supply for all your hobby needs. They stock everything you need from getting started to expanding your forces to adding more final details of colours and basic materials as well. They also stock Combat Patrol magazine and other past and present partworks from Hachette. So if you're looking for a few extra issues or ones you've missed out on, check out the link in the video description. Check the Hachette tab and you might just find what you're looking for at a bit of a discount. Let's head over to the table, build and paint our Cthonian Berzerks. Here we are then with issue 57 and 58 for our first time. So we've got all our bases here for the 28.5mm round bases, and then a 50mm round base for our mole mine launcher Berzerker. We also get our 3 frames, so 2 come with issue 57 and 1 comes with issue 58. So I'll take a look at these under close cam. So pretty cool. We've got the plasma axe there. We've got the concussion hammer. We got the deactivated plasma axe for the mole mine launcher. We've got the mole mine launcher itself. We got what looks to be about 2 bodies worth of pieces. We've got a mole mine token there to attach to a separate base if we had the small 25mm bases that they come with. I've got some in my spare box, so I can easily build those up myself. And we've got plenty of heads for each of the models. We've even got a Ironkin head for the Ironkin that's carrying the ammo for the mole mine launcher. Our other frame from issue 57 includes 2 plasma axes, 2 concussion hammers, and again 2 bodies worth of models. 3 heads for each body, all the extra backpack gubbins and stuff. So yeah, all in all looking pretty cool. And issue 58's frame brings us the parts of the champion with the mass gauntlets there, 2 more concussion hammers and 2 more plasma axes. So yeah, if you had a full kit, you'd be able to build up all of them with hammers or all of them with axes, plus you'd also be able to build the champion. Yeah, all in all pretty cool. But we're going to be building up as the combat patrol requires us, which is the models here. So let's adjust the camera and we'll have a quick flick through our build and paint guides before we bring in our tools and paints and get onto it. Into issue 57 we go. So the full contents for the issue, we have build guides for Cthonian Berzerks. We learn about the Kronus Hegemony, transports and light vehicles. We also have Cthonian Berzerks collect articles, so we get to name our unit. We have a page for the campaign, Orcs versus Tyranids. Then we have Leagues of Votann faction abilities, Leagues of Votann combat patrol rules pages as well. So we've got our build guide here. So we're going to build our Cthonian Berzerks. Carefully check through your frame for the components. Click them out, clean them up with mold line remover, apply just enough glue, and press your 2 components together to firmly adhere. And then we're on to our build guide. So we've got our champion here, who has the mass gauntlets here. We've got choice of heads. Whichever head you use is up to you, doesn't really matter. Paint guides will show you one particular head. Then we've got the concussion gauntlets here. Then we have heavy plasma axe on 3 other models. So again, we build the parts of the body, add your choice of 3 heads, add your arms and your axe, and then add in your backpack detail. Do that 3 times, being careful, some of the bits might be fragile. And I believe there's a few errors in here as well, so just double check your numbers. And finally we got our mole grenade launcher. So we've got the Ironkin that carries the ammo and the Grenader's plasma axe. We got the Grenader, this model itself there. Again, I believe, yeah, 3 head options, so you can choose whichever one you want. And as I said, we have got proper mole mine tokens, which if you had some spare 25mm bases, you can easily create those. But yeah, all in all, it's still pretty good. So right, that's it for the build guide. Let's take a look at issues 58's paint guide. So into 58, full contents, we've got the paint guide for Cthonian Berzerks, single page of lore article looking at the League territories. We've got 2 pages of campaign, Eldari versus Orcs and Chaos Space Marines versus Orcs. We have Combat Patrol Leagues of Votann, and then finally Hunt Them Down, our latest scenario where our Berzerks have entered a Space Hulk and are hunting some Tyranids. So how to paint our Cthonian Berzerks then. So we want to base coat all the models with Wraithbone. I'll be spraying 4 of them with Wraithbone. The other one I'll be spraying with matte black. So yeah, I'll be able to prime that one in a different colour. Then we want to paint the trousers in Avalan Sunset. Pick out all the black armour with Abaddon Black. Quite a lot of it. So you've got the weapons, you've got the backpacks, you've got the boots as well. Cash and flesh for all of the leather pouches, as well as any leather belts, some facial hair, the skin on the mole launcher, plenty of leather straps on our Ironkin there. Then we're picking out all the metallic details, the lead belcher, so there's bionic arms, there's bits on the plasma axe and some power nodes, there's cables, plates in the heads on certain models, Screamer Pink for the weapon hafts, Mephisto Red for the energy blades and the energy cables and any bionic eyes. Make sure you're cleaning your brush regularly, and also make sure you change your water after you finish using metallics. Onto the shades. So Nuln Oil is used for any Captain Flesh, Mephisto Red and Screamer Pink areas, and Agrax Earthshade is used for all of our metals. Michael Flesh Shade is used for the flesh skin and the trousers. Then we're into highlighting, so Stormhost Silver on our metallics, Night Quest of Flesh on all of our browns, including our brown skin, and then Pallid Witch Flesh on any of the pale skin. Pink Horror for the weapon grips, Mechanica Standard Grey for the armour, including all the weapons. That's our models so far, looking really cool. Right, let's bring in our kit. We'll build one of these guys, and then by the magic of editing, I'll go away, prime them, and we'll get painting. So as usual for these videos, we'll build our champion. So I've got the frame with all the components for a champion and one of the 28mm bases. So our first components we need are 2, 1, and 3. And we'll also pick out a head, so we'll choose either of these heads. I quite like 14 there, that rather full bushy beard. We'll take that one. Right, we'll get those cleaned up and we'll start our assembly. So there we go, all our components are ready. Now we'll start applying our glue. So run it all the way around our model. I'll attach part 2 first. Which joins up like so. Just doesn't want to stay in place. A bit more glue, and then we'll attach part 1. And we'll put our chosen head in place as well. So it should look like that. And we'll get him glued down to his base, leaving it to dry while we cut out our next components, which are going to be the arms. So I'm going to want 18, 17, 16, and 15. Right, we'll get those cleaned up and then we're going to attach them to our model. So there we go. Next job is to glue the backs of the hands to the fronts of the hands. So let's just double check we got the right one. Yep, there we go. That's 18 and 17. So run our glue around the hand and we'll press these two components together. We'll do the same for 15 and 16. And we can try and test fit these on the body, so we'll see where they all line up. That one goes like that. And then this one will go put some glue in the contact point there. We will line up our left arm like so. I'll do the same for our right arm. And he should look like that. Kapow. Right, let's turn the page and we'll continue our assembly. While we're letting the components dry, let's clip out our next few. So we want part 19, 20 and 21. That bit was fiddling. I had to go get my tweezers, but it's in place. And now we need to glue on our backpack. So we put a bit of glue on each of the contact points here. And in between here. And where the long cable will attach to. So we can line everything up. And then we got one final cable that needs to go in place. So glue there, glue there. And then we got there we go. And with that, our Berzerker's finished. Well, champion anyway. I'll have to build up the rest and we'll get on with our paint guide. And just like magic, we're here with our primed Cthonian Berzerk. As you see, we got the one we built on camera. And yeah, I really had a hard time building these guys. They were really fiddly. The cables wouldn't line up very well. Some of the bodies wouldn't sit flush. But yeah, definitely not some of my favourite models to put together. So anyway, on with painting, and we've got the guy undercoated with Wraithbone. I did cheat. I used white bone from Colourforge and then a single layer of Wraithbone over the top. And then we can move on to blocking in our other colours. And the first colour we're going to need is Avalanche Sunset for his trousers. So over the white Wraithbone, we should just want the one layer. Work this over all the areas of trousers cloth. Don't worry about getting it on any other areas at the moment. We'll be tidying those up in just a sec. There we go with the Avalanche Sunset dry, ready to move on to our next base coat. And we're going to pick out all the black areas with Abaddon Black. So this is his boots, his armor, and pretty much going to get all these cabling and the gloves as well, just so we're double covered for when we come to doing the metals. We might want a couple of layers of this over the larger areas. So with our black prepared, onto our model. So we'll get his boots. We got this cummerbund sort of thing here around his waist. Or even cover the areas that will be brown like his belt. Then we got his power pack and the cables, so we'll get that with Abaddon Black. And finally we've got the gauntlets. So there you go, all the Abaddon Black done. I've even picked out the metal part of his face there. Ready to move on to our next colour. So that's going to be Cthonian Flesh. This is going to be for facial hair, the skin on anyone that you want to have dark skin, and all the leather work on the models. So I'm using my small layer brush as we need some extra control here. But we got beard here, we got belt going around his armor, we've got these leather patches on his trousers as well. Quite a few of the models have straps. The cog has lots of pouches in his backpack to paint as well. And any models you want to have dark skin, you want to apply this all over their skin. And there we go, all of our Cthonian Flesh areas are base coated and now ready to move on to our one metallic colour, which is Lead Belcher. So we're going to get this down on all of our metallic areas. So any pipes, details on the gauntlets, and any ports on the bodies. So onto our models then. So we can get all of these pipes here. A backpack detail here as well, pick that out. Any nodules and ports on the trousers and skin. And of course this guy has a bionic face plate. So pick that out as well. Although the paint guide doesn't say to do it, the cover art shows these little discs on top of the fist picked out in silver, so I'm going to do those. So there we go, all of our metallic detail is done. There's a lot on the actual body that the magazine doesn't tell you to do, but I've picked it out anyway. So next up then, we're going to pick out our final colour. Well, there should be two, but this guy doesn't actually have any pink areas that need painting. So we're just going to go to Mephiston Red. So this is going to be for all the cables and any bionic eyes. So we'll pick out all these cables coming from the power pack. You'll also want to get the plasma blades on the plasma axes. And any bionic eye detail as well. I've given the skin a little bit of a tidy up with some wraith bone as I made a few spillages, but now this guy is ready to move on to the wash stage. As you'll also notice, I've applied my basing material. And our first shade is going to be Nuln Oil. This is for the base, the red cables, as well as the plasma blades, any pink details if you got it, and of course any areas you've painted with collagen flesh. So seeing as majority of the areas are going to be small, I'm using my small layer brush. So I'll pick out all the red cables, these pouches, as well as the belt. Bionic eye if you can reach it. And of course, we've got his base to apply this to as well. With all our Nuln Oil areas dried, we're going to pick out all of our metals. And this is going to be with Agrax Earthshade. Again, for added control, I'm using my small layer brush as we've got quite a few fine areas to get to. So you've got all the mechanical workings on the power pack here. And all the cables. And with that Agrax Earthshade dry, we've just got one shade left to apply, and that's Reichs Flesh shade to the yellow and the skin. So we'll apply the Reichs Flesh shade to the skin. And to the trousers. And there we go with our champion and his gauntlets finished. Our Cthonian Berzerks are ready for the tabletop. So yeah, we've even got the mole grenade launcher here, really cool. I did paint up the tokens to go with it, though there's not actually any rules to utilise them, but still fun little addition to add to the collection. Here we got our axe dudes as well. Looking really cool. So as I said, we've got to try these guys out, and that'll be coming up in a later video. But up next, it's time to dive into all the lore of both these two issues. So all that's left for me to do is to say thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you all for more Combat Patrol Carnage. Goodbye.